For 2 years, a woman named Karen parked in my assigned spot. Every single day, she always said the same thing. It was empty when I got here, but she was lying, and I had proof. What she did not know was that a small camera above my garage was recording everything. 2 years of lies were about to collapse in one HOA meeting, and what happened that night ended her career on the board. My name doesn't matter for this story. What matters is spot 14B. When I bought my townhouse 3 years ago, that numbered parking spot came with the deed, right next to my front door. Perfect for groceries, for my kids' car seats, for late nights coming home from work. Karen lived 2 buildings down. She sat on the HOA architectural committee. People respected her. She smiled at block parties. She organized the holiday lights contest. Everyone assumed she was one of the good ones. The first time I found her car in my spot, I thought it was a mistake. I left a polite note. This is spot 14B, assigned to Unit 12. Please park in guest parking. The next morning, her car was gone, but it came back the next week, and the week after that. Each time, same story. Oh, I did not realize it was taken. It's always empty when I pull in. That excuse did not make sense. My car was there every night. She knew exactly whose spot it was. By the 3rd month, it wasn't occasional anymore. It was almost every day. I started parking 2 blocks away, carrying groceries up the street, buckling my kids into car seats on a busy road because a woman with a reserved spot of her own decided mine was more convenient. I complained to the HOA office. They said they'd look into it. Nothing changed. A week later, her car was back in my spot like nothing had happened. Weeks turned into months. I sent emails. I called the management company. Every time, I got the same response. We'll send a reminder to residents about guest parking. Karen never got a warning. Not one. One night, I got home late from a hospital shift. My spot was taken again. I had to park 3 blocks away in the rain, carrying bags in both hands. When I finally saw Karen the next morning, I asked her directly, "Why do you keep parking in my spot?" She looked at me like I was the problem. "It's just parking. Calm down." Then she said something I'll never forget. "Nobody's going to do anything about it anyway. I know people on the board." That's when I understood. This wasn't a mistake. This was a pattern. She believed her position protected her. And honestly, up until that point, she was right. I filed a formal complaint. The HOA president told me, politely, that without proof, they couldn't take action against a fellow board member. Karen denied everything in writing. She said I was targeting her and creating conflict in the community. Other neighbors started warning me quietly. "Don't bother. She always wins." One neighbor told me she'd done the same thing to the family before me, and they eventually moved out. Another said Karen had once gotten a residence fence torn down over a technicality just to prove a point. That made something in me snap. Not anger. Determination. If the HOA needed proof, I was going to get proof they couldn't argue with. I ordered a small weatherproof security camera, motion activated, cloud storage. I mounted it discreetly above my garage door, angled directly at spot 14B. Then I waited. Day 1, nothing. Day 3, her car. Right on schedule, 6:47 p.m. Day 7, same spot, same time. I did not confront her. I did not say a word. I just kept collecting. Weeks passed. The footage piled up. Timestamps. License plate. Her face, clear as day, walking away from my spot like it belonged to her. She had no idea a camera was watching everything. And the next HOA board meeting was in 2 weeks. That gave me exactly enough time to build a case she couldn't talk her way out of. I did not tell anyone what I was planning. I spent that time doing something most people skip. I read the HOA bylaws, cover to cover. Buried in the parking policy was a clause most residents never noticed. Assigned parking spots are private property rights tied to the deed, not community amenities the board can informally reassign. That meant Karen wasn't just being rude. She was, technically, trespassing on a legally protected asset, day after day, for 2 years. I also learned something about HOA governance that surprised me. Board members can be removed from committee positions for violating the same rules they're supposed to enforce, especially if there's a documented pattern and prior warnings on record, which she had, buried in old email threads I'd saved. I compiled the footage into a single video, months of clips, side by side, timestamps synced. Her license plate, unmistakable, parked in 14B, over and over. The night of the meeting, I sat quietly at the back until public comment. When my turn came, I asked to present something to the board. I connected my laptop to the projector. The room went silent as the footage played, clip after clip. Same car, same spot, same time window, night after night, spanning 2 years. Karen's face changed the moment the first clip appeared. She tried to interrupt. This is taken out of context. But there were 41 separate incidents on screen, and every single one told the same story. I read the bylaw clause out loud, the one about assigned parking being a deeded right, not a shared resource. Then I mentioned the prior email warnings she'd received and ignored. A board member sitting near me flipped through the same file and confirmed it. The warnings were real. They'd been sitting there the whole time. The HOA president asked Karen directly if she had a response. She did not have one. For the first time in 2 years, Karen had nothing to say. The board voted that night. Karen was removed from the architectural committee, effective immediately. They also ruled, based on the documented violations, that she owed me compensation for 2 years of inconvenience, calculated from the alternate parking costs I documented in my complaints. She tried to argue. The board member who'd once told me she always wins was the one who moved to approve the fine. Karen left that meeting without her title, without her excuse, and without the parking spot she'd treated as her own for 2 years. I still live in that townhouse. Spot 14B is empty every night when I get home now. Nobody questions whose it is anymore. Sometimes the biggest fights aren't won with anger. They're won with patience, paperwork, and one small camera nobody knew was watching. If you've ever dealt with a Karen who thought her title made her untouchable, tell me your story in the comments. And if you want to see how this HOA handled its next problem resident, that story's coming next.